here at Barangay Ginebra, head coach Tim Cone. Coach, congrats. The never say die spirit lives on with you overcoming a twice to beat disadvantage. What do you think was the biggest factor in closing out TNT?
Well, first let me say it's really special to, I've only done it a few times in my career, and so it's always super special to win a twice to beat disadvantage, to find a way to do that. It's really, really hard. The odds are way against you. But, and of course to do it against Chot Reyes, so I just, and it's such a huge, opponent like Talking Tex. But, Chot, I just consider one of the greatest coaches I've ever coached against. So when I can do it against Chot, it makes it special. But saying all that, we had a lot of good fortune that shined on us. Fuller apparently got hurt, so what we hear, and they brought in an import who apparently has been here for a while, but it's a lot different being in practice shape than game shape, and that's something we talked about. So we had some good fortune there. He was cramping really early in the game. Midway through the second quarter, he was already cramping. So, and then we just shot the ball real well tonight. We had a great shooting night. Japeth was knocking down shots. Reminded me of his dad, Peter, taking those jump shots from the top of the key. That's what Peter Aguilar would do all the time when he was playing for Alaska. And, and we were Nards, Scotty, everybody, LA, of course, Justin, everybody was hitting shots tonight. So that made the game a lot easier when you're making shots. And we just saw an opportunity, when the import started limping around, and we just saw an opportunity. I think our guys just seized the opportunity. That's what good teams do. They see opportunities and they seize them. And we seized that opportunity, and just trying to keep pouring it on as much as we could. So, we were really afraid of Talking Tex putting, 3 or 4 threes together in a row and, coming quickly back into the game. And luckily they missed some open threes, and that gave us a chance to keep that lead up. And but we were so afraid that the game was going to swing back to them after we got the big swing on them. So.
Coach, LA stepped up and made baskets during crucial runs. Your thoughts about his performance in today's game?
LA is, throughout his career, has been a big game player. Ateneo, Alaska, when I was with Alaska, all the way through Ginebra, through our last, 4 or 5 championships with Ginebra, he's always showed up big at big moments, and that's just his MO. He's a big time. He plays big in big games, and if we're going to continue through this playoffs and play at a high level, we're going to continue to need that contribution from LA. You just can't. You look at Scotty, you look at Justin, you look at some of the other guys, Japeth, Christian, but if you forget LA, he's going to burn you, and he did the burning tonight.
Coach, although temporary, you can now heave a sigh of relief, advancing to the semifinals. What can you say about having that small kind of reset now that you're going deep?
Well, it's going to be short-lived, because the next game is going to be decisive, and we'll know who we play right away. And I don't know exactly when we'll be playing. I don't know the schedule of the semis yet, but Wednesday. Okay, we play Wednesday. That gives us a little bit of time. I thought that was one of the big reasons we were able to win game 1 of this series, because we had time. We had 4 days, and we prepared really hard during those 4 days. And we came out with a game plan for Mikey Williams, and that was basically our game plan, trying to find a way to slow down Mikey. And but we had 4 days to hone that game plan, not just figure it out, but hone it for another 2. It's one thing, you get 1 day preparation, you figure out a game plan, but you don't have the time to really work it till everybody knows exactly what they're doing. They're all on the same page. But when you have 3 or 4 days, you can really hone in on that game plan and make it really tight. And that was our goal. And that gave us that chance to win that first game, which led us into the second and the change of imports and everything. But really, it was those 4 days of preparation. So now we've got 4 days, I guess, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So at least 3 days to prepare. And like I said, I don't know who we play yet. We will in a little bit. But when we know, we'll start putting the game plan together, and it'll give us a couple days, not only to recover, but to hone in on that game plan that we want for game one and try to set the tone. You always want to try to set the tone in game one, especially in a 5-game series. It's a quick series, so that game one is crucial.
Coach Mikey was, he scored 17, but he was a non-factor in the first half. Was there still adjustments in terms of defending him for this game?
Well, we just tried to make it as difficult as we could. We tried to make him get to places that he doesn't normally. We have a shot chart for him. We know where he likes to shoot, and we try to get them not to get to those areas and where he's most successful. And as well as Scotty and Nards played on him, it was really a team defensive effort. And that's what I mean by the game plan. When you have a game plan, it's not about just guarding Mikey. It's about how the 5 guys will guard him. And so I thought we executed our defense. We've been really bad defensively this whole conference, and that's really unusual, if I may say, for Tim Cone coach teams. We're always one of the, I've always been a defensive oriented coach, but this conference, we've been at the high level, we've been at the top with the offense and the bottom with the defense. And, we discussed that and talked about it, and we said that we can't win in the playoffs like that. We got to really hone in on our defense. And the guys took that to heart, and we have really, I thought, honed in defensively. And we got to continue to do that through the playoffs.
Coach, your opponent would be either NLEX or Alaska. Very difficult, both teams. So your general thoughts about your possible opponent.
Well, I get to go against Yangao, which is never fun, ever fun to go against Yangao. You never look forward to that. And then I got Jeff, and all the history with Alaska. And Jeff is my former player, my former assistant. He knows me back and forth. And of course, Alaska's trying to do something special in their last conference. So, they're highly motivated. So either one, either one's going to be really, really difficult for us. And we'll have to figure out exactly what we want to do. We beat Alaska during the eliminations, but we got beat by NLEX. So, take that for what it's worth.
Coach, just your thoughts of getting back into the semis after being eliminated early?
Well, it feels good. I mean, we won the 2 championships before that. I think people tend to forget. It's been because it's the pandemic. Everybody forgets what happened. But we won the 2 championships before that, and then we had a letdown in the last conference, which is kind of normal. It's natural to have that kind of letdown. And we made some changes. Even though we won 2 championships, we made some major changes. Bringing Christian on, and it's been a trial trying to get everything back to where it was, 2 conferences ago. Having Justin back helped us out. We went through a bad stretch when we came back from the pandemic. We were 3-1, and we came back and lost 4 games in a row, all to the top 4 teams. Basically, we lost 4 games in a row. So that kind of put us on our heels. But we kind of recovered, won a couple of games, and started getting a little bit of confidence, and then here we are, finally able to beat Talking Tex. You asked me before, my wife was asking me before this, can we beat them? I said, you want to know the truth or you don't want to know the truth? She goes, I think I want to know the truth. I said, no, we can't beat them, but we'll try. So it's a surprise to me as well, as it is to everybody else that we're here.
Coach, health has been an issue for your team this conference. So is there, latest about Aljon and the rest of the guys?
Aljon is supposed to start joining us in 5-on-0s on Sunday or tomorrow. He's supposed to start joining us in 5-on-0. So in other words, he can't play against defense. but we hope that after 3 or 4 days of that, he can start joining us on 5-on-5. And maybe another 3 or 4 days after that, maybe he can, maybe we can think about maybe putting him into a game. So I would think that he might, and I don't want, it's not written in stone, and it all depends on whether he has setbacks or whatever. He still has some swelling every time he does work, so that's always alarming. But there's a chance he could come back sometime in the semis. Joe is getting better, and I would have used him tonight if Prince hadn't played so well. Prince played really, really well tonight, so Joe is the next in line to try. But Stanley and Jared, no, you won't see them till next conference.
Okay, Coach. Thank you. And that ends our post-game press conference.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Ruben.